going, y'all? It's Icon once again here to recap the Extreme Rules pay-per-view. A lot of matches tonight, 4-hour show as usual. 2 kickoff matches. It's going to get wild, it's going to get extreme, and we're going to be here to talk about it. So let's get right into it. So the pay-per-view started, the kickoff show, with the Intercontinental Championship. Shinsuke Nakamura versus Finn Balor, who has not been on WWE TV for a while. I don't know if he's injured, if he's sick, if he has something personal going on. But I know Shinsuke Nakamura has been sitting in catering for a long time. The two of them had a very decent match, a very good match for both of them. And I'm going to stay in the camp of thinking Finn Balor's injured because he won the belt at WrestleMania. He barely defended it. And now that he's finally back on TV having a title match, he just loses the belt to Shinsuke Nakamura. I don't think we're going to see Finn Balor on TV for a little bit because, like I said, for whatever the situation is. But I'm actually happy for Nakamura because he hasn't done shit. Like, he really hasn't done anything. So to see Nakamura get some championship gold, he's a heel. Let him fight some of these guys. Like, get these people out of catering. Like, let him fight some people. Let him go through people. Let him fight Apollo Crews. Let him fight Shelton Benjamin. Let him fight Andrade. Like, let's rev this thing up a little bit. So hopefully they do something with the IC title come Tuesday. Next we have the Cruiserweight Championship match, the star of the kickoff show, Drew Gulak versus Tony Nese. Again, I said in the last video, like, I wasn't a fan of Tony Nese. I don't even know why he got the belt. I love Gulak. You know, like I said, he's a workhorse. He's been a workhorse. He's been showing up, doing whatever it is they ask him for him to do, and to see him still hold on to that belt is a beautiful thing. So hats off to Drew Gulak because I knew he was going to win anyway because Tony Nese was not winning that rematch. So let's see 205 Live. Hopefully he'll get a fresh opponent and someone else he can beat on going forward. So the first match started. It was surprisingly it was the Undertaker match. Shane and Drew McIntyre versus the Undertaker and Roman Reigns. Like I said, I was kind of surprised that this match went first, but, you know, Taker's an old dude, so he probably just wanted to go first and get it over with. The match was basically what you expected. There was nothing, you know, it was just basic wrestling in the beginning, like nothing too crazy. Towards the end of the match, Elias did get involved, which wasn't a surprise because we figured that would happen. Like, you know, he's Shane McMahon, so Shane's going to cheat and use every dirty trick in the book. And then towards the end, you know, they were kind of like setting up, you know, the Drew McIntyre Undertaker thing. Drew McIntyre got a lot of shots in on Taker. They did the spot where, thanks to the Elias interference, Taker was laid out on the announce table, and then Shane came off the top rope, you know, for the flying elbow. The crowd chanted, "Holy shit." Shane, you know, he did the coast to coast, but, you know, Shane McMahon's not strong enough to put down the Undertaker. You know, Drew McIntyre tried to hit Taker from behind with the Claymore. Roman Reigns intercepted with the spear. Taker, you know, after 2 tries, got Shane McMahon. He saved it though, because Roman Reigns threw Shane McMahon into Taker. Taker tried to pick him up and he dropped him. And then Taker tried to play it off like Shane was putting up a fight. So Taker was like shaking his head like, you ain't gonna get away, boy. And then, you know, Taker got him up, hit him with the tombstone. That was it. 1, 2, 3. Taker and Roman Reigns win. We all knew they would win because you don't bring Undertaker to an Extreme Rules pay-per-view and not have him win. But if Drew McIntyre would have gotten the pin on Taker, that would have been cool because it would have realistically set up the fight that it's rumored the two of them, you know, to have at SummerSlam. And, you know, if they do have that match at SummerSlam, I would want to see it. Like, I would definitely want to see a Drew McIntyre Undertaker fight. But for this one, the big dogs, you know, secure the yard, and we're moving on to the next match. So the next match was the Raw Tag Team match between the Revival and the Usos. This was a good match. I really enjoyed it. They let the Revival be the Revival. They brought me back to the old Revival NXT days. I mean, the Usos always put on a great match, so that was never in question at all. They did they did the traditional sneaky heel stuff, you know, behind the referee's back. And during the match, not only did they give us an alley-oos, which Michael Cole referred to as just a regular Samoan drop, but they gave us an alley-oos by the Usos. The Revival actually hit the old Power and Glory finisher, with one going for the suplex and the other coming off with the splash. You know, and then they gave us the Shatter Machine at the end for the Revival to pick up a win. So it looks like they're actually doing some stuff with the Revival now. They got a win over the Usos, which is a very big deal. I'm not sure if these guys signed the contract yet. I know they had turned down a contract offer before, but if they're going to let the Revival be the Revival, and if the Revival trusts them to let them do that for the duration of them, you know, for their career, I say re-up, you know, sign that contract, get that money. But good match by both teams. You know, like I enjoyed it, and we'll see if the Usos get a rematch at SummerSlam. So next we had Aleister Black versus Cesaro, and this was a really great match. Like, it was old school, hard hitting, pound for pound. It reminded me, honestly, it reminded me of an NXT match. I feel like I just saw an NXT match on a WWE pay-per-view. Both guys put each other through it. You heard the smacks, you heard the cracks, the uppercuts, the kicks, the slams. There was even a knee strike that Aleister Black did to Cesaro, that looked like it almost knocked his lights out. I mean, though, let's be honest, technically speaking, all WrestleMania aside, this is like Aleister Black's first official WWE match. So, especially in singles, especially for singles. So, we all knew he wasn't going to lose, but Cesaro actually made it look like he was going to win. There was even a point where Aleister Black was hitting him with uppercuts, and then, Cesaro's the uppercut master, so he kind of took that personal. And Cesaro came back with a fury of uppercuts of his own. But, they went from uppercuts to strikes, and then Black Mass to the face. Cesaro dropped, Aleister Black got the victory, and we'll see if Cesaro comes back to challenge him again, or if Aleister moves on to someone else. But more matches like that, definitely will be good going forward, because I actually greatly enjoyed that. Backstage action, Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross going over strategy. R-Truth is still looking for Rockstar Spud, or Drake Maverick. That's what we're calling him, Rockstar Spud. He's looking for him so he can get back his 24/7 European TV championship. And then while Alexa, they leave, and then while Alexa and Nikki are going over strategy, the Street Profits show up. Still on the main roster, still got the NXT Tag Team Championships, and this segment was actually really funny. They both, they said to Alexa, they was like, "Yo, Alexa, when you become women's champion, where the party at?" And Alexa was like, "Oh, you mean co-champion?" And then both of then Montez and Dawkins, they busted out laughing. They was like, "Hold up, you was serious?" And and see, I like that, because they're bringing a realism, a non-scripted realism to it. They're talking about things that are actually happening. They're saying real opinions. They actually it legitimately felt like they thought she was full of ish. So it didn't seem like that they scripted that. But the Street Profits are good on the mic anyway. And then then she said, then Nikki Cross was like, "Yeah, we were serious. We're gonna be co-champions." Then the Street Profits started laughing, and they was just like, "All right, well." Sucks to be you or Bailey, but then at the end Dawkins said that he kind of wants to party with Nikki Cross, and we all know what that means. But I like that though. It's just the sad part about seeing the Street Profits on Raw is that they just got the NXT Tag Team Championships, and they're gonna lose the belts now at some point, so they can have once they actually develop a feud with someone on the main roster. Look for them to, lose the tag titles at the next takeover. But, like I said, I enjoy watching the Street Profits, so I had no problem with this at all. So then we actually had the SmackDown Women's match with Bayley versus Nikki Cross versus Alexa Bliss. And I actually thought it was going to be triple threat style, where the two of them basically just gang up on Bayley. But they did it tag team style, which was really weird. So I guess they were going all in on this co-champion thing, because it was tag team style. So both girls basically wore Bayley out the entire time. Sasha never came out to help her, so for everybody that thought, "Oh, Sasha's coming," Sasha didn't come. But again, they weren't going to do a co-champion of SmackDown type of thing, especially since Alexa Bliss isn't even on SmackDown. She's a Raw superstar. So so pretty much, again, as we all know, Nikki Cross was the one who took the pin. She took the elbow off the top rope by Bayley. Bayley got the pin. Bliss and Cross did not feud after that. Bliss actually consoled her a little bit, so we'll see if she's still in a consoling mood tomorrow. But I think it's time to break this up. Alexa tried twice and she failed. I would Nikki Cross. I don't even know if Nikki is a SmackDown superstar, but Bayley basically needs to go back to SmackDown and fight SmackDown girls. There's a ton of talent on SmackDown. There's a bunch of girls, that are deserving of a title shot. So, we had the Extreme Rules one-off, well, not the one-off, but we had the Extreme Rules tag team 2-on-1 match. So Bayley won. Hopefully there's a new challenger for Bayley on SmackDown come Tuesday. So the next match was the match I was actually looking forward to the most. It was the last man standing match between Bobby Lashley and Braun Strowman. And again, this was the match on the entire card, aside from the Kofi Samoa Joe match, I was looking forward to the most out of anything until I saw the outcome. It basically, they did all their big moves early in the ring before it spilled to the outside. And once they did all their big moves early, I kind of thought that was the beginning of the end. But they fought in the crowd, they fought in the concessions, they fought backstage. And in the end, Braun Strowman did a power slam off of the one of the tunnels, the top of the tunnels where the exit sign is. He did a power slam to Bobby Lashley through like some debris or like a stage blocking setup. Lashley didn't get up for the count of 10, and Braun Strowman won the last man standing match. Which I don't understand, because you let Braun Strowman win the tug of war, you let him win the arm wrestling contest, you let him win at Saudi Arabia. Now he just won a last man standing match. So like Lashley didn't win not one single match in this entire feud or any particular event. And I don't understand the purpose behind that. It's actually very annoying to me. Not only because I'm a Lashley fan, but they're not going to do anything with Braun Strowman. So him getting all the... It's not like Strowman's going to challenge Seth Rollins for the Universal title tomorrow. You know, so... I don't know. But Braun Strowman won, so we'll see what the plan is for both Braun and Lashley going forward. Okay, so this next match actually saved the pay-per-view for me because I was tight after that Lashley stuff. It was the the triple threat tag match for the SmackDown titles. Heavy Machinery versus the Planet's Champions versus The New Day. And, you know, it was a good triple threat match. Otis did his usual chicanery. He even did this one funny spot where, you know, like when everyone does the running dives, and then Otis was like, it's my turn to do a running dive, and then he ran, and right before he was about to dive, he stopped and just like quietly stepped through the bottom rope, which got a rise out of the crowd. Like, they enjoyed it. It was a funny moment. But after everybody got wiped out, it ended up being Daniel Bryan versus Big E in the ring for a while. Like, they were in there for like a hot minute. I was like, is no one else gonna get up at any point? And, you know, they went back and forth. There was even a moment where Bryan was doing his kicks and his chops, and then Big E was just taking it. And then he was just like, he was like, come on, do it again. And he was just like, you know, doing the warrior thing or whatever. And Daniel Bryan, he ended up doing his backflip off the top. He tried to do like his step up, you know, like backflip off the top rope, and Big E caught him. And then Woods showed up. They hit him with the Midnight Hour, and the New Day are the 6th-time SmackDown Tag Team Champions. And after they won the Tag Team titles, Woods started screaming, "We got all of them, baby! I told you we get all of them." And I'm like, well, you don't have the United States Championship. So, on one hand, it's like, you know, actually, I mean, that's a hell of an accomplishment. Like, the entire New Day, you know, just like the Shield, when the Shield were tag champions and United States champion, you know, the New Day, they're WWE heavyweight champion and they're tag team champions. So the New Day has all the gold. Hell, let's see if if Kofi can get the IC title on SmackDown this Tuesday. You know, see if he can get the IC title on SmackDown this Tuesday, and then put the hat trick on it. But yeah, hats off to the New Day. I'm excited to see what that promo's looking like on Tuesday. Next was the United States Championship match between AJ Styles and Ricochet. Ricochet came in, you know, with the glorious entrance, and as soon as he got in the ring, got savagely beaten by Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows. They jumped him before the opening bell. Despite this being Extreme Rules, this was a regular one-on-one matchup. The match was good. It was a wrestling clinic. It was a technical wrestling extravaganza, and the crowd was not into it at all for the beginning of this match. The crowd actually didn't get into it until towards the end, when they started doing the I punch you, you punch me, I punch you, you punch me. Like, that's when the crowd got into it, but the crowd was pretty dead for it. But the match itself was awesome. Like, I was enjoying it. And then towards the end, you know, AJ Styles is a heel now, so towards the end, you know, like off the interference from Gallows and Anderson, they were able to take Ricochet off guard, and Styles did the Styles Clash to Ricochet off the second turnbuckle and planted him face down. Now, in the crowd, there was this one dude who was in the crowd. He looked like Luke Harper's like older brother. He was like in the front row, and he was just booing every time Ricochet did like a spectacular move, did a flip, did a, you know, an Enziguri, a Hurricanrana. He booed every single thing Ricochet did. And I was like, damn, B, like, why you hating? Like, yeah, like, man's out here killing himself. But then he was cheering for AJ Styles. So I don't know if he just hates Ricochet or is he an AJ Styles fan. But yeah, AJ Styles is the new United States champion. So that belt's actually been getting passed around a lot lately, and I don't consider that a bad thing, because the way the belt's been changing hands, it's actually been entertaining. It's not like, it's really not a game of hot potato. It's, you know, it's more so just like the better man is just getting the better of other people. So I'm pretty sure Ricochet will get a rematch tomorrow on Raw, and whether he, you know, which he's not going to win. So it'd be interesting to see who they give AJ Styles to face at SummerSlam. So a match I actually didn't know was happening tonight. I guess Shane McMahon made it at the last minute. was Kevin Owens versus Dolph Ziggler. And that's pretty much all I can say about that, because as soon as the bell rung, Dolph Ziggler slapped Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens gave him the stunner, got the pin, and Kevin Owens won the match. Then we had the WWE Championship match between Kofi Kingston and Samoa Joe. And I'm just gonna say it. Joe beat his ass. like Joe beat his ass. Joe wore him out. Joe gave him everything that he had. But in the end, you know, Joe went for the ropes. Kofi caught him with the okie doke, with the rope-a-dope, should I say. TIP, Trouble in Paradise, put him down for the count. I mean, I think we all knew that was going to happen, though. 1, 2, 3. Kofi Kingston still the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. And I'm loving it. The New Day came out, so this Tuesday, SmackDown Live, they're going to have all the gold, minus the IC title. And I'm really looking forward to see what they got to say regarding, you know, having all those belts. And I dare Nakamura to come out and talk some ish, because Kofi might just take that too, and then he'll be a double champion. Okay, so I'm just going to talk about the Universal Championship match finally, last match of the night. So, it wasn't a special match. It was basically everything you would expect from an intergender tag team men's-women's match. Towards the end, this is where it got interesting. Towards the end, Baron Corbin gave Becky Lynch the end of days, which I thought was incredibly awesome. Even like the crowd went nuts over it. And then it made Seth Rollins go crazy. He gave Baron Corbin 3 curb stomps. Lacey Evans got scared because of how enraged Seth Rollins was, and Lacey Evans ran. Becky's on the floor, passed the F out. Rollins did the 3 stomps. He got the 1, 2, 3 pin. And then once he got the 1, 2, 3 pin, because earlier in the night, Paul Heyman came out. And he said that, spoiler alert, Philadelphia is his country, it's the home of Extreme, and Brock Lesnar was going to show up and cash in. And that's exactly what happened. Brock Lesnar showed up, F5, whooped on Seth Rollins, and Brock Lesnar is the new Universal Champion. And that actually makes perfect sense, because SummerSlam is next month, and Brock's probably going to lose the title to whoever fights him at SummerSlam next month, unless it's Braun Strowman. Okay, so that was WWE Extreme Rules, and, you know, for a decent show, it was a decent show. Like, the show it had a lot of good matches on it, but nothing, like, spectacular happened really until the end, between Becky Lynch taking the the end of days and Brock Lesnar showing up to cash in his Money in the Bank. The only thing that, you know, but when I thought about it, I was just like, well, the last 2 Universal Champions have been Brock Lesnar, Seth Rollins, and now Brock Lesnar again. So Seth Rollins is probably going to get his rematch at SummerSlam, and then I just hope it doesn't end up being like a back and forth between both of these guys. I mean, at this point, I either want to see Braun Strowman versus Brock, Seth Rollins versus, well, Seth Rollins lost the belt, so give me Brock Lesnar versus Lashley. That's it. Brock Lesnar versus Lashley, SummerSlam, Universal title. But, you know, kudos to Brock Lesnar. He's the new Universal Champion, and we'll see if he holds on to it past SummerSlam. So that was it. I'm getting out of here. Thank you for tuning in. It was definitely extreme at the end. And until next time, as always, y'all, I'm out this bitch!